Hey guys, welcome back to Coding Everyday, and in today's video we are going to discuss on the JSX. So this should be a short video, so without wasting any time, let's get started. So JSX stands for JavaScript XML, and it's a syntax extension of JavaScript. It's basically a syntactical sugar that allows us to write HTML and JavaScript together. Okay, so as it mentions, it allows developers to write HTML code in JavaScript. So JSX provides a way to describe the structure and layout of UI components in a declarative way, making it easier to reason about application's behavior and state. So JSX is nothing but it's just a way of writing HTML along with JavaScript. So by definition, this is only this much. But if we go to React documentation, we have multiple things mentioned here. So to demonstrate, I have opened this basic React app created by White. Okay, so when the React team gave the first introduction to React on the JSConf, so they mentioned that in a React app, if you see this div or this anchor tag or this image tag, this is actually not our normal or basic HTML tag, it's a JSX. So by this they meant that this code that is written, like the div, the anchor tag and the h1 tag, these are all part of a JSX which will be later compiled and then transformed by JavaScript into the HTML elements. So to differentiate, whenever we have a HTML div, right? So we have class, we don't have class name. So in React we write class name instead of class. The reason being, in JavaScript class is a reserved keyword and we cannot use class. So that's why it's class name, but class name is not present in HTML, right? Similarly, if you see src, it's within this curly braces, and if you see, we can pass function like this. When we are writing on click, then the C is in capital. This is a camel case letter, and the count variable, that is a variable, it's in curly braces. So this is the way that we write JSX, or this is known as JSX. So if you go to console and we let's say inspect this div only, then let's go inside it. We have this app. You see, now this div has a class of app, but here we had a class name of app. So that means that this is compiled and then transformed into HTML code, which is then passed here, and it is then converted into an HTML. So in JSX, if we want to write a JavaScript code within this tag, then we always need to write it within the curly braces. Right. So let's say I have an array, const arr is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now let's say I need to print it here. So I can write it like I will iterate over it here. So let's write a div tag here, and then I want to loop this over this array, and I need to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in my UI. So for that I need a JavaScript map. So how I can write it? I can provide the curly braces, then I can write arr dot map. Then we have, let's say, the element, and we return let's say I'll return an h1 of. Now again I'm providing an HTML tag. So since I have, okay, so we don't need return in a single arrow function. So I have this h1 and I need to pass this ele within this one. So if I write it normally like ele, it will consider it as a text. You see, it's a text, but Since it's a JavaScript, then this is an HTML tag. Let's consider it's not actually an HTML tag, but again I need to pass a variable here, then again write it within the curly braces, and here we go, our numbers are printed. So basically this is a way of writing that we are going to use for development in React, and the same thing will be repeated in React Native as well. So if you remember, in the last tutorial we have written this thing, this short line of code. So I'll open my emulator. So similar to React, you see, if I go into this button, right? Okay, so this button is a class, okay, and within this button I have title on press. So you see the function is passed in this way. Okay, let's say the same example I'm going to repeat here. So I'll write const arr is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I need to print it over here within this one. So what I need to do, since we are in React Native, I can't use div, so I'll use view, and within view again I need to write the JavaScript. So curly braces, I'll write arr.map, and inside this map I will pass an element, and this will return me text, and T is capital, and within this text I need to provide my variable. So this ELE, enter and save. Here we go, and we have our number here. So this is basically JSX. So we are integrating our component or tags with the JavaScript code, so that whenever we create a UI, we will have all these things together. So like previously we had the template engines where we had code somewhere else and the tag somewhere else, but here we can combine them together. So that was all about the JSX, like the basics JSX. You can write JavaScript, you can develop in React without using JSX as well. You can go through this document if you want some more information about JSX, but in basic way, writing JSX is only HTML with JavaScript, or it's a JavaScript extension. That's it. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'll meet you in next one.